Coming.
Morning, Captain.
Oh, good morning, Ronnie.
Did you sleep for last night?
I didn't sleep at all. I've been busy.
I can see that. Look, I'm really starting to worry about you.
Well, don't. All right? I can take care of myself. You want to get started?
Sure.
Good. Start right here. Shane Donahue. Captain here in 2009. Thomas was a sergeant at the time. He was involved in a big case involving the Wildwood Diablos. You familiar?
Yeah, they were the biggest drug cartel on the East Coast until they were allegedly, shut down last year when Riddick was arrested?
Correct. Now, the leader of the Diablos was this fine, upstanding citizen right here, Mr. Santos. He was murdered in 2011 by one of our own, Officer Sanders. Officer Sanders was an officer turned vigilante, killed Santos along with many others using Donahue's sidearm. Later tried to burn it in a car fire. Luckily for us, CS recovered it.
I heard a rumor that Donahue was involved with the Diablos. What's the story there?
Well, just the opposite. After the case, Donahue took rather long and unexpected sabbatical and was replaced by my predecessor, Lieutenant Jenna Andrews. He was later spotted at a couple of functions involving the Diablos. Now, there were drugs in his system, but we believe he took them just to fit in. Allegedly, he was working on his own case involving the Diablos, but we can never prove it.
How is that confirmed?
Well, enter Richie Marquette. He was a low-level drug dealer turned informant. His handler was a detective, Tim Evans, who worked here. Evans made him wear a wire, and we were able to clear all this up with Shane. Now, Marquette was murdered by Rico Cardoza, another gang enforcer, who in turn was murdered a couple of years later. We still have no idea. Case is still open.
What happened to the recording? If we could track down Evans, we might be able to get a copy.
Well, it would be a good idea. Unfortunately, Evans was killed at the station bombing that occurred here in 2009, and magically all of the evidence, as well as the tape recording, has gone missing. All right, now we move on to Greg Udris. Another transfer from Miami. He was a cop here until 2011 when he was transferred to the SWAT team. Now, around that same time, Captain Andrews was fired by Chief Herrick, and Thomas took over. Udris left the SWAT team in 2012. Now, according to his suicide note, which you can see here, he felt as though he was being followed, his mail had been gone through, and his phones had been tapped. He obsessed about that for about a year until he was killed. Now, move on finally to Thomas, our latest commanding officer. He had a clean record until just recently when he was involved in an investigation against a local pharmaceutical company called Biotech. CEO is this man right here, Dr. Joseph Eriksson. Now, Thomas went down to Biotech to get an interview with the good doctor. Unfortunately, the doctor was away at the time, and it was there Thomas was killed. There were multiple defensive wounds on the body. It looked as though Thomas put up a fight, but ultimately he slit his own throat.
So what you're saying is that all three of these people, the only connection that was between them was that they were all from Miami? What were the specifics on the transfer? I mean, I heard that almost a dozen people were brought up.
You're close. There were 9, actually. There was Alex Belle, Harry Glasses, Greg Udris, Shane Donahue, Jane Lacey, Valerie Roscoe, Adam Sanders, Colin Thomas, Jenny Malone, formerly of the FBI.
Out of that group, 3 are dead, and Valerie's a missing person.
No, 4 actually. Jenny Malone was killed in the precinct bombing in 2009. Now, out of the remaining, Mr. Sanders is in jail, and Jane Lacey left town in 2010 after mysteriously quitting the force.
Okay, so the transfer is the connection. That's all that it could be. Which means that Belle and Harry are potential targets. We should get them protection.
No, let's wait on that. I don't want to spook them yet. Shane, Greg, and Thomas didn't become targets until they started asking questions. So for right now, when it comes to Belle and Harry, can we just keep a protective eye on them? Okay. Excuse me. Captain DeAngelis. Yes. All right, great. Thank you. I'll be right out. Something's come up. I have to go. Just stay here, go over everything. We need a pair of fresh eyes. Let me know if you find something.
I will let you know.
Thank you.
Excuse me, do you know where I can find Sergeant Alex Bell?
You're with the FBI.
That's right. Do you know where I can find Sergeant Bell?
Yeah, sure. You want to go down the hall there, through that door, go upstairs, and then he's at the office all the way on the other side of the building.
Thank you.
No problem. You're in early.
Yeah, I've been going at Nick Bennett all night, and I am getting nowhere fast.
That's the Wildwood Diablos gangbanger with the stolen police car, right?
Yeah, that's right. I've got the proof on him, but he won't tell me anything about the armed robbery.
Such as where he took those high-grade military weapons or what the Diablos are planning?
Exactly. Hey, can I borrow you?
What?
Can't you just, go in there and do your mind melt thing on him and get this over with faster?
My mind melt thing? I'm sorry, Monica, but I'm not some kind of lie detector that you can just summon whenever it pleases you.
Please, I'll give you a child sacrifice.
Now that's funny. And tempting. But no, I can't. The FBI's gonna be here any minute. I've got to get this information laid out.
Oh, you handled them just fine. Come on, please.
Okay, Monica, you get 1 hour of my time.
1,000 thank yous.
Mm-hmm.
Captain, you went home and changed.
Yeah, I had a long night.
So, do anything interesting?
No, not really. Did you?
Please, I'm not very interesting.
Yeah, sure you ain't.
Something else?
Yeah, coffee.
Oh, sorry. I kind of drank the last of it.
Of course you did. Drank it all.
Is something wrong, Captain? Because you appeared troubled.
Do I appear troubled? Maybe I seem troubled because gang violence in this city is suddenly on the rise and nobody can tell me why. Maybe I appear troubled because military-grade weapons are loose somewhere out there on the street. Maybe I appear troubled because I have a satanic cult murder to do with stop. Pseudo-Satanic cult murder. And maybe, just maybe, I appear troubled because in a station like this, I never know what kind of supernatural or crazy shit is going to... Harry, you alright?
I'm fine. What the hell happened?
I don't know. Detective, you okay?
Yeah.
Alright, clear. Stairs are clear.
Squad room clear.
Harris, there we are. Call it. Go, 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 go.
I can explain.
No, counselor, I don't know what happened. No, I promise you we'll figure it out. I promise. No, I don't think Belle shot him. Because why would he do that? Yes. Yes, ma'am, I will do all I can. Absolutely, yes. Damn it.
What have you got, Harry?
Well, Nick Bennett was standing here. Cause of death, single gunshot wound to the head. Bullet was through and through. There's a solid brick behind this wall. Should have stopped the bullet, but it didn't. It went through. We haven't found it yet.
Well, where'd the bullet come from?
Have you talked to Belle?
Of course we did.
What did he say?
Well?
I was just starting to interrogate Nick Bennett. 1 minute, I'm explaining his childhood to him in detail and explaining why his issues with his father. And then suddenly,
Suddenly what?
a bullet hole just appeared on his head. I instinctively drew my weapon, and then you came in and ruined it.
Oh, stop a minute. So you're in the middle of interrogating a perp, and this perp is just magically shot in the head. You see why there's a problem there.
Not particularly, that's exactly what happened. What, you think I shot him? Okay, that's not something I would do. But I didn't.
Well, there was no one in the room with you. And we cleared the squad room. There was no one in there, so... If you didn't shoot Nick Bennett, then who did?
A ghost?
Ah, Megan's gonna love this.
A ghost?
It's just a theory. A fun, paranormal theory. I'm sure you're going to set us straight with some science.
That's right, I am. This over here is a bullet hole. Bullet went through the squad room, through this wall, over here, through Nick Bennett's head, and through the wall.
Well, we cleared the squad room. I mean, there was nobody inside. At least, nobody that we could see.
Please stop that.
Ghosts. Your explanation for this is ghosts.
I take it Belle called you.
You know, every time I come into this station, I never know what to expect. It's bombs, hurricanes, zombies, plagues, Satanists. I should have expected ghosts.
We're doing our best. The investigation is ongoing. We'll try and have something.
You better.
But hey, look at it this way, counselor. If we don't, always line the station with salt.
Nice work. You managed to waste an hour of my time. Congratulations.
And see all you missed?
I do. I see that the ordeal didn't stop you from putting up the case information from Miami. Nice work, Sergeant Belle.
I know my name. How about yours?
Autumn Reeves.
It's funny. When I heard FBI, I was actually expecting...
Agent Franco?
Yes, actually.
His mission to take you down is legendary at the FBI.
Well, it's nice to know I've made a nice impression over there. So tell me, that's not going to affect how we run this case, is it?
Not on my end, it shouldn't. As for you, I've heard about your past entanglements with the FBI.
Well, it's good to know that Mike Franco still talks so highly of me.
He does, and so do a few other agents, like Agent Jenny Malone.
You know Jenny.
I knew her. I worked with her. I replaced her. After she chased you down to Wildwood, she's dead now, and I'm here. Funny, isn't it?
I suppose you could call something like that funny.
Are we going to talk about these grisly cult murders, or are we just going to stand around making small talk all day?
I'll take the murders, please.
Excellent.
Throughout 2008, a series of bizarre murders occurred across Miami. There are at least 7 victims that we know of. Now, as you can see, all of the murders occurred throughout the Miami metropolitan area. All the victims were incapacitated with a syringe full of ketamine, taken to a remote location in the woods where they were raped by multiple assailants, tortured, strangled, and beaten. Their hearts are ripped out, cooked, and eaten. Animal sacrifices were common, usually squirrels.
At that time, you were working for the Miami-Dade Police Department, right?
That's right. This was my first experience in all this. I mean, honestly, none of us at the time knew how large this cult was. Hell, I don't think we even knew the cult had a name.
Well, they do. Heaven's Night Cult is one of the largest and well-connected cults out there. They originated in Philadelphia in 1979. Then they expanded to Charleston, South Carolina in 1990, and then they showed up in Miami in 2005.
Do you have some sort of list of known members of this cult or associates?
Actually, I do. The leader of the cult is a man named Mercer King. He began the cult when he was just 21 years old in Philadelphia. He is still the leader of the cult today. He operates under the pseudonym Moloch. He is the only member of the cult that we have no hard evidence or testimony against. He has 3 main lieutenants that work under him. In Miami, we have James Gibbs. He operates under the pseudonym
Lazarus Incubus. As you know, it was Lazarus Incubus that we took down back in Miami. Thanks to CSI Harry Glasses, an officer you just working undercover in the cult. That and he kidnapped CSI Jane Lacey.
He committed suicide while under NBPD custody, right?
Incubus had a false tooth, the bleach. He bit into it while he was left alone. The bleach flooded his system and he died. Harry mentioned that many of the cult leaders have those 2 false teeth implanted in case they're ever caught.
I'll keep that in mind. Moving on. The second lieutenant is from Charleston, South Carolina. His name is Solomon Foley, and he goes by the pseudonym Leviathan. He convinced his entire sect to commit mass suicide. He was arrested, and he is currently in federal prison.
And that just leaves our first lieutenant.
Azazel, as his pseudonym suggests.
We don't have a photo of him?
That's right, he's the only member of the cult that we haven't identified. We don't know Azazel's real name, what he looks like, or where he's from. What we do know is that he is fiercely loyal to King, and still is to this day.
Is Azazel still in operation?
They've exchanged communication electronically, but they've only been using demonic names, and they've been jamming the signal so we can't track them.
I see.
I understand your NWU crime scene has some differences to the
does. For one, we are only dealing with one attacker. He did subdue the victim with a syringe of ketamine, but he did not take her into the woods. Her heart was ripped out but not consumed, at least not at the crime scene. There was the presence of squirrels used as animal sacrifices and satanic propaganda at the scene. However, there was no rape, no strangulation, and no brutality. In fact, the killer crossed the victim's arms across her chest.
Showing a sign of remorse. That means that the attacker is in this for a different purpose. The original profile that we set up for the cultists indicated that they were pseudo-Satanists, driven by revenge and violence, using Satanism as an excuse. The Sun Sub isn't doing that. He's in it for the ritual purposes, and he follows the rituals to the T, but he skips the rape and torture.
But then again, this unsub seems to know less about Satanism than the cultists. I mean, look at this pentagram. It's not inverted. That's Satanism 101. Even the killers from Miami knew that. This unsub is clearly killing people for ritual purposes, but he does not understand them fully.
Well, then that rules out Azazel, because he would know to put the pentagram the right way.
So then who's left?
A few of the original cultists are still on the run. I've highlighted them on this list. We have eyes on them though.
What about Mercer King?
We'll need to get surveillance on him. He's been spotted in Atlantic City, but I don't want him to know that we're on to him until we have more evidence.
Well, you may have just gotten your wish.
So I just had a nice little conversation with Victoria outside.
Fascinating.
How dare you override my orders? Who the fuck do you think you are?
Victoria Malatesta is sloppy, and Colin Thomas was an imbecile. I made sure that Monica Haggarty is neither, and I believe I can replicate those results with Alex Belle. Also, I don't believe I am required to take orders from you. Was there anything else?
Yeah, you're fucking nuts, you know that?
I believe you've mentioned that a time or two.
I get it. I do. You want to play God, create your little super assassin, but you got obsessed along the way. And guess what? This little pet assassin of yours works for the United States government. And she's going to destroy everything we work for. Do you understand me? Can you even comprehend what I'm telling you?
I'm truly sorry that political and military domination is the highest achievement your mind can fathom. In the end, a leader is still a man. I challenge you, Mr. Wyatt, to be a man, or be more than a man. But perhaps that is a goal too lofty for you.
You're becoming a liability, Doc. I should have you put down.
You would do very well without my virus, I'm sure.
There's got to be others who know how to complete it.
Even if there were, you'd have to find the laboratory first. Or did you think I'd be stupid enough to develop it here at Biotech?
I've gotten information out of people before, Doc.
I'm sure you're well aware that your methods would have no effect on me.
You made a promise to me back when all of this started, remember? You were so obsessed with starting that little second project of yours. You promised me a train killer.
I remember.
You said that after what you did to Monica, that her mind was so broken and dependent on yours that her handlers in the government couldn't really fix her. And then when she was taken, you said that you could have her back at any point in time. Can you do that for me?
Quite easily, yes.
Then do it!
Only a moment ago, you wanted her dead.
I wanted an asset! If you can't have her killed, then I want her here!
And Mr. Bell.
If he's still alive when this is all over, you can do whatever you want to.
Very well. I'll see to it that Monica is ready to return to duty by year's end.
Mark my words, Eriksson. I will have my power. And your stupid little quest for immortality won't get in my way. You can either cooperate, or you can be shot. Your choice.
I wish you luck, Mr. Wyatt. And while you seek your power, I advise that you stay out of my way, for I will certainly stay out of yours. Sir.
Alright, Dr. Baines, what do we know?
I just got here myself a bit, Belle. One thing's for certain. The killer went apeshit in this guy's face. Look at it, it looks like hamburger.
Yummy. Is it possible that this could be one of our cult victims? The destruction of the victim's face could match our unsub's new MO.
Unsub?
Sorry, it's a BAU term. It means unknown subject.
I know, I watch TV. I just never heard you say it before. Anyway, I didn't find any pentagrams around or anything like that. But the CSI's found a pile of bones over yonder by that tree.
Check his neck.
See an injection mark at the neck. You thinking ketamine?
That's what I'm thinking. Did we get any identification on this guy?
Nope. Didn't find anything on him. I'm thinking the killer, the unsub, must have took it with him when he ran.
I just talked to the local cops. They said 2 kids found the body.
And what exactly were these 2 kids doing out here in the woods?
Well, I noticed a lot of hickeys on the boy's neck, and the girl was missing a bra. Care to take a guess?
No, I get the picture. Our victim has no identification, his face has been destroyed, and there's a pile of bones over there by that tree.
That sounds like the original MO for the cult. Take someone to a secluded location and kill them.
If you can call this a secluded location. The road's right there. That's walking distance. It's like this guy didn't even care about the body being discovered.
What's the status on the heart?
Heart's in my age, just like the college chick's heart.
This victim's face wasn't burned. It was damaged with some sort of tool.
Like the claw end of a hammer? One of my FBI techs found this on the side of the road. The unsub must have dropped it.
This guy is getting sloppy. I mean, serial killers are supposed to evolve and become more intelligent with each kill. This guy is doing just the opposite. He's not even focused anymore.
Maybe it's the anticipation of whatever ritual he's doing.
Maybe. But for now, let's get these swabs back to the lab. If you want to identify this guy, we're going to need DNA.
Well, the science proves it. Bullet came from outside, through that wall, through the squad room, through the interrogation room, through Nick Bennett's skull, through another wall, and then through the other wall, and landed into a car parked across the street.
Interesting.
So one bullet, according to your theory, passed through 1, 2, 3 brick walls and one man's skull without losing any velocity. Is that what you want me to believe?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm telling you. It looks like a rifle round, but I'm gonna look at it in the lab and run it through IBIS. Okay.
Even more interesting than this mystical bullet is how did our shooter manage the perfect headshot? There's 2 solid walls between Nick Bennett and the outside. How did they manage to get off the perfect headshot without injuring anyone?
Well, the only thing I can think of is somehow our shooter can see through walls. Some kind of rifle scope or something. That's the only thing I can think of.
Well, Nick Bennett did steal high-grade military weapons from Virtus. Maybe it's one of their prototypes?
Oh, maybe. So now Renegade Street Gang has a rifle that can see through any barrier, fire bullets that nothing can stop. Essentially, they can shoot anyone, anywhere, at any time.
Sounds about right.
Captain? I'd like an increase in my health insurance.
Shut up, Perry.
Okay.
On what? Track someone down? Who? Victoria. Victoria!
Can I help you?
What are you up to?
Several things, actually. Anything in particular?
Damn it, I mean Victoria! Where did you send her?
Oh, just on a little assignment. Nothing you need to worry about.
I need her.
I'm sure she'll be willing to work with you after she's finished with my assignment.
If this is another one of your damn pet projects again.
And there isn't anything you can do about it.
You better not be doing anything to jeopardize the planned stock.
Not at all.
Go.
Reeves get back to us sometime soon. I can't wait any longer on this shit.
She's better. Hurry.
Hey, Harry, thanks for coming down.
What's up? You guys look serious. What's wrong?
Well, Harry, it's about our latest cult victim.
Oh, I heard about that. I'm still processing the evidence from the scene. I didn't forget about the...
Harry, relax. It's fine.
What's up?
Well, Doc identified the body.
Yeah? That's good, I guess. Who is it?
Well, missing persons report came back on an Adam Patterson.
Adam Patterson. No, wait.
Yes, Darren is dead.
Yeah, so you two knew Darren Park when he lived and worked in Miami. Before he was Adam Patterson, before he was in witness protection, he was a reporter, I believe, if I
Yes.
remember correctly. Worked in Miami, also a member of the cult.
Also a member of the cult, and, like Harry, was testifying against them. Last we heard from him, he just started a relationship here with CSI Jane Lacey, but that was 3 years ago.
She gave a letter of resignation. She never said where she was going. How did they find him? I mean, what the hell was she doing back in the city anyway?
Agent Reeves is trying to figure it out. We haven't heard anything yet. She's working as we speak.
However, we did manage to track down Jane Lacey. Apparently, she and Darren got an apartment together in New York City, where she's from.
She's on her way down now to speak to us.
Oh, I'll do it.
Okay.
If that's
No.
okay.
We prefer it that way. It's probably make her feel a little bit more comfortable. She knows you personally. But if they got to Darren,
You can get to me.
so I'm putting a protective detail on you effective immediately.
Captain.
Do not argue this with me. I've lost enough officers this year. I'm not going to lose you two. Plus, you have family. You have a son now. All right? Look at me. Do not, under any circumstances, leave this station without that detail. Are we understood?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Dismissed.
Oh, and watch out for ghost snipers, too.
I don't believe this. Please give me something. Give me something. Come on, give me something. Son of a bitch.
Harry has got something for us.
Oh, I hope it's good news.
I successfully found the bullet which killed Nick Bennett.
Oh, you finally found it, huh?
Yes, it was actually across the street in a car. The bullet literally went through the station, across the street, and was embedded into a car.
Long story short, Harry's identified the caliber.
All right, go ahead, Harry. Shoot.
Ha!
Just tell me, please.
The bullet was a 14.5 by 114 millimeter, also known as a 57 caliber.
Oh, yeah. I remember these. I saw these types of bullets when I fought in Iraq. Some serious artillery. Used to use them in anti-material rifles. Shoot through tanks, armor, APCs, things of that nature.
That's right, these diamond tip bullets have a 38.7 gram core of tungsten carbide, and there's 1.8 grams of incendiary material in the tip.
God, this bullet could have traveled a lot further than just to the station. The shooter could have been blocks away.
That could have been shot from almost anywhere.
Yeah, but that's true. But the thing that really scares me is that in order to handle one of these anti-material rifles, you need some serious military training. I remember I was back in the Marines during Desert Storm. We took a crew of about 2 or 3 men just to set one of these up, let alone fire it.
So then how could a group of local gangbangers manage to make a perfect headshot from blocks away?
Something tells me the Wildwood Diablos were not behind this assassination.
Tell you what, take another look at Virtus International. Military contractor of that caliber definitely have access to some mercs somewhere that can handle a rifle like this.
They were mad at the Wildwood Diablos for stealing their supplies? How did they even know Nick Bennett was here?
I don't know, Harry. But I'm gonna find out.
Okay. Got it. Thank you, Harry.
Please tell me Harry got something from Jane.
Harry got us something better than just something. In
What?
fact, Harry can lead us right to our pseudo-Satanic killer.
Okay, how?
Apparently, Darren Park was doing a story about the cult. He was contacted by a man named Ed Roberts.
Okay.
Long story short, Ed Roberts lured Darren Park into the woods with promise of news on a story and killed him.
Oh.
So therefore, Ed Roberts is our serial killer.
Okay, I'll bite. How does that help us find him?
Because, being the wonderful reporter that he is, Darren Park did a background search on Ed Roberts before meeting him in Wildwood.
Okay.
And it just so happens that Ed Roberts is renting a motel room in downtown Wildwood.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, let's go arrest him.
Stay right where you are. Not gonna arrest him. Not without informing the FBI first.
You've got to be kidding.
I don't like these prick feds any more than you do, but we've been jerking them around enough today. They could have taken this case from us by force if they wanted to. So, give it to me. I'm gonna relay it to Agent Reeves. Don't fight with me.
Fine.
Thank you, Sergeant.
Ready to go?
Ready to go.
So which hotel did you tell the FBI to go to?
The Riverside Motel.
And which hotels are Psycho Killer actually staying at?
Paradise Motel.
Nice work.
Let's go.
Yep.
In nomine Dei nostri Satanis Luciferi Excelsi. In the name of Satan, the ruler of the earth, the king of the world, I command the forces of darkness to bestow their infernal power upon me. Open wide the gates of hell, and come forth the abyss, to greet me as your brother and friend. Grant me the indulgences in which I speak. I have taken thy name as part of myself, and I live as the beasts of the field, rejoicing in the fleshy life. I favor the just and curse the rotten. By all the gods of the pit, I command these things which I speak shall come to pass. Come forth and answer your names by manifesting my desires. Oh, hear thy names. Satan, adversary, accuser, opposite, Lord of the Inferno, fire, the South. Lucifer, bringer of light, enlightenment, the air, the morning star, the East. Belial, without a master, baselessness of the earth, independence, the North. Leviathan, the serpent out of the depths, the sea, the West. With the anger of anguish and the wrath of the stifled, I pour forth my voices, wrapped in rolling thunder that you may hear. O great lurkers of the darkness, O guardians of the way, O minions of the might of Thoth, move and appear. Present yourselves to us in your benign power on behalf of the one who believes and is stricken with torment. Isolate him in the bulwark of your protection, for he is undeserving of anguish and desires it not. Allow him no misfortune to allay his path, for he is of us, and therefore to be cherished. Restore him to power, to joy, to unending dominion over the reverses that have beset him. Build around and within him the resultant radiance that will herald his emergence from the stagnant morass which engulfs him. This will command, in the name of Satan, whose mercies flourished and whose sustenance will prevail. As Satan reigns, so shall his own name, as is its sounds. Cassie is the vessel whose flesh is as the earth, life arrows everlasting, world without end. Shemim Parash, hail Satan!
Police, put your hands up.
Sir, you need to step away from the altar. Put your hands where we can see them. Put the dagger down. It doesn't have to end this way.
Ah, my leg. Monica.
Trade your dagger for a suspect.
Deal.
Shut the door, Ronnie.
What's with the salt?
Never mind. What do you have?
I looked into Shane, Udris, and Thomas's cases, but I couldn't find anything that connects them.
3 officers at this station commit suicide in 3 years. No. There's no way that's a coincidence. There is something that connects the 3 of them. Or should I say someone? Monica Haggarty. She's involved in this somehow, but I'm not quite sure how.
Well, I did speak with Tony earlier, and he mentioned that when he and Monica went to speak with Dr. Eriksson at Biotech, that she had an unusual reaction.
What do you mean an unusual reaction?
Apparently, she was petrified, didn't say a word the whole time.
Really?
I know, that's crazy for Monica, right? She's usually really talkative.
Tell me about it.
And on the way out, she was apparently sick in the bathroom.
Any reason? Do we have a connection between Monica and Eriksson?
None that I could find, but there's more. Do you remember the case of the dead body in the elevator?
Oh, you mean the one where he came back to life and attacked our ME? Yeah, I remember. Alexander Morrissey worked for Biotech. Case unresolved.
Dr. Baines said he found traces of blowfish poison in Mr. Morrissey's system. That must have been how he appeared dead at the crime scene and was taken to the morgue. But apparently there were also traces of a second substance.
You Black Plague, I know.
Well, a mutated strain of it anyway. And that must have been why he was so violent and irrational.
Okay, great. All very interesting. How does this connect to Monica?
Apparently there were traces of the same substance in Captain Thomas's system.
What? Why were we never told about this?
He sent traces to toxicology, but they never got back to him. I called the labs myself, and they said that something happened to the results.
That's fantastic. And Thomas's body was cremated, so we can't get any new results. That's great. These 3 deaths are connected somehow. I don't know how, but they are. There's something going on here.
But how does Monica fit into this? I looked into her past, and it seemed pretty clean. Maybe a little too clean, though, if you ask me.
Tell you what. Let's concentrate on Eriksson, all right? Thomas went to see him the day he died. I've been calling the good doctor, but I haven't gotten a response back.
And I'll do what I can to look into the company.
Good.
There's got to be something that connects it to Udris and Shane, right? And we really do need to find out more about that mystery virus. I'd hate to think what might happen if it got out.
There's some sort of virus out there that turns regular people into violent psychopaths. This whole city could be on the brink of chaos.
The virus is ready for mass production.
And I'm guessing you are facing something evil with it.
Evil, Victoria? Not at all. The plague is officially an airborne pathogen, and I need it tested. Will you be available?
Well, I don't want to for something, but yours sounds much more fun. Who am I zombifying?
The last remaining inconveniences.
I'm assuming you've already told General Wyatt the plague is ready.
Of course not. I need you to complete the task I set you before I tell Mr. Wyatt the news. And even then, I have no intention of giving it to him just yet.
You don't give a damn about the Chimera initiative, do you? Whether or not Wyatt gets what he wants.
Continue your current operation and await further instructions.